Hi, I'm Karen from Turpin.com, and here's my article called The New Age and Ascension Deception. Are we being lied to by New Age and Ascension teachers and leaders? Could it be that we've been told only half of the truth, and without the other half we remain unconsciously impotent, stuck, wounded and powerless? We are supposed to be in an age of enlightenment, an age in which everything is revealed and the truth comes to light. However, I observe that even though much truth is being revealed, people are actually more confused now than ever before. People want hope. They want to believe that the world is becoming a better place, and they also want to be saved from poverty, disease, war and famine. We've always had leaders on this planet who have said, "Follow me and I'll keep you safe." And people have followed them and taken orders in a bid to stay safe, find connection, and not have to suffer alone. Symbolic, perhaps, of the Israelites that followed Moses to the Promised Land. Perhaps that idea of making our way back to the Promised Land is so deeply ingrained and implanted in our minds that we feel compelled to follow a leader, any leader who seems to say the right thing. Perhaps a desire to return to or recreate a new golden age on this planet also fuels our desire to follow the people who tell us that they will lead us into a spiritual new age. This desire to belong to a group or tribe is primal. Back in the day, we all knew that it was safer to be in the tribe than alone and outside of it. There was a very real threat from saber-toothed tigers, other invading tribes, and we also needed to protect our assets. That sense of not belonging continues to be one of our core fears, arguably one of the root causes and underlying feelings behind many addictions. However, that need to belong, to be seen, to be worthy, to be liked, to fit in, may be one of the weaknesses that actually leads us to join a particular New Age or Ascension group, or jump on a specific timeline and step up to be mesmerized and consumed by the false light and its leaders. Just as those in the throes of their addiction feel an incredible high at just the right moment, so too do those who are seduced by the false light. It's that sense of belonging, perceived community, covert self-importance, and the belief that one is a part of something greater, even if that thing they are a part of is not exactly what it first appeared to be. It cannot be denied that there are many false prophets, both on and off the planet, that are lording around and very active right now. Clearly they are gaining something from it, but what exactly are they gaining? What is their agenda? We are at a time when fake news is everywhere. Much truth is also being spoken, of course, but truth tends to have the capacity to make some people squirm a bit, so it's often not welcome at the party, like the uninvited guest that somehow just doesn't quite belong or fit in with the others. And truth is sometimes attacked. The truth can hurt, yet it is wildly liberating too. Truth has the capacity to bring about a feeling of relief that is so deep it's palpable, like when justice is finally served in a court of law. Yet shine the light of truth upon an area where there is much to be protected for personal gain, profit or agenda, and you'll see people scurrying away to hide in all directions, and not so many come out to celebrate it. When truth is revealed and a shift of consciousness required, some people will come to stand and defend the old paradigm, and others will choose to attack the truth speaker. Attack is a powerful form of defense, and is one I've often seen used in groups and communities when questioning of truth threatens the status quo or the leadership position. The communication style of social media allows us to palter. When challenged, a few well-chosen words may pass as an answer, albeit often a very cryptic one. Requests for clarity meet with the same response. And then there's Photoshop and various apps that make things appear real when they're actually not. Flowery language is applauded on social media, And for those who wax lyrical about anything spiritual, well, likes and love hearts will come in abundance. There is a kind of tribal safety in numbers, and on social media, numbers are very important. However, the truth is still the truth, even if no one believes it, and a lie is still a lie, even if everyone believes it. What so many of us seem to have done in recent years especially is lose our ability to actually see and certainly feel the truth. Perhaps this stems from childhood, when we were institutionally lied to about Father Christmas, the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny. Where did these fictitious characters first come from? And what was the intention behind that lie? If you research this, you will find a socially accepted version of the lie and a slightly more sinister version. Which one will you choose to believe? Which one feels like truth to you? Try to remember that the truth is not always comfortable to hear, and it is the shock of the truth that sometimes makes us want to reject it. There always has to be enough truth in something to make it believable in the first place. An out-and-out lie we could all probably identify, but put a sweet-tasting topping on it and our discernment goes out the window in a flash. If we choose a few keywords and pop those in, we can usually win our audience's attention. This is what marketers do every day for a living. They find words that connect with their chosen audience, preferably words that connect emotionally with their points of pain or greatest desires, and then they offer them something that appeals to them. In a way, this is the art of selling, and we all use it. Even shop windows employ this tactic. When the weather turns cold, they try to lure us in to buy that hat, scarf and gloves you saw in the window. Or in the summer, that swimsuit, beach towel and sunnies that would make you look oh so hot down the beach this weekend. And you really want that look, don't you? And of course at Easter, the shops are full of eggs for you to buy for your kids that perpetuate the lie that bunnies poop chocolate eggs. No wait, what was that lie again? It must be a good one anyway, because we've all bought into it and nobody wants to be the party pooper whose kids get no eggs. So we all go along with it, even though we know it's a lie. It's all very confusing, isn't it? Yet we expect our kids not to lie to us. When we subscribe to a particular belief, it can be very difficult to shake it loose. We can change any belief that we want to, but it will take a bit of work, perhaps a period of cognitive dissonance that will feel uncomfortable, and then a period of assimilation and a building of a new behaviour pattern or belief structure. Have you ever heard some news about something, a truth that has been proved beyond a doubt, and yet you found it so freaking unbelievable that you've really struggled to take it in, because it shatters your whole belief structure in one hit? Perhaps you've even judged the person that informed you of this truth as being ridiculous, a troublemaker, a conspiracy theorist, or, if it's a spiritual truth, dare I say that you judge that person as being of lower consciousness and less evolved spiritually than yourself, because you know the truth and they must be wrong. Well, this is a type of cognitive dissonance. On the whole, I think we are trained to not feel truth. Of course, schools do a good job of this. They train us to take in information and regurgitate it as truth. Don't question it. Don't run it through our little truth filters. Just accept what we're told. We are trained to this from an early age. But there comes a point in time when we begin to awaken that part of ourselves that searches for more. And this is often the time that we find spiritual information, and we get a sense of the freedom and empowerment that is available to us via this route. Because of the life we've lived and what is accepted in society, many people can't feel their own truth. They don't know who they are deep down inside. They really don't have an inkling of the power of the consciousness that they truly are. And they don't know what truth feels like, because we have been lied to on this planet from time immemorial. They are not really familiar with the truth vibration. In fact, the only way to know that truth vibration is to strip away everything that is untruth and feel what's left. Have we been so trained throughout our life to just accept what other people tell us that we have lost the capacity to to think and feel for ourselves or to question anything? Well, if we have, then thankfully we don't need to worry now that we're awakening spiritually, as help is at hand. Yes, the New Age and Ascension teachings have all the answers that we are searching for and can tell us everything we need to know, think and feel. Phew! Well, that's a relief. Wait, hold on a minute, what was that? Am I suggesting that you should just take on this whole new set of beliefs just because someone tells you to? Hell no! Would we be just swapping one program of control for another? Yes. In a nutshell, what I'm saying to you here is that because we have been living in a 3D matrix that is so heavily programmed, many of us have lost the ability to think and feel for ourselves or make our own choices and decisions. So the leaders, or controllers perhaps, of this New Age and Ascension agenda have happily stepped up and are offering to tell us what to think and feel at this new level of consciousness in order that we don't have to search within ourselves to find our own truth. In fact, perhaps even to prevent us from searching within ourselves to find our own truth. So we think we have sovereignty and liberation from the 3D matrix. But all we've actually done is swapped one control mechanism for another. This effectively allows us to move from the lower matrix, 3D, to the next level of the New Age, the false ascension matrix, or, for more advanced scholars, the ascension agenda, or the starseed trap. Sounds sweet, but we're not quite home and free after all. Having been heavily involved in New Age and ascension circles myself for many years, I have now thankfully traversed these levels and moved out the other side of them. I found that the biggest missing pieces in all of this is the understanding of the power that we truly are, and instruction of the correct use of our mind. I have acquired a deeper understanding of the law of attraction now. Previously, it was something I openly poo-pooed and quite honestly criticised as 5D rubbish. But from the quantum perspective that I can now view it from, I can see that it's absolutely accurate. We do attract to us that which we focus upon, but it's not as simple as wishful thinking, affirmations and vision boards. There is a lot of mindset and deep inner work that needs to be done before we can successfully manifest or attract to us the life we really want. But this becomes incredibly difficult when we also subscribe to a belief structure that tells us that we should not desire certain things, like money or success or to own our own home even, all of which are common spiritual New Age and Ascension beliefs, which I feel are designed specifically to limit and disempower us. Desire for abundance seems to be okay, providing the money word is not mentioned. And if you do mention the M word, then suddenly you've become greedy. If we pin all our hopes of healing our physical body on a crystal or an essential oil, we are heading towards a hard lesson to learn. I believe that all healing requires a shift of consciousness and an understanding of that consciousness shift. We need to become conscious and use the unlimited power of our mind in order to create the outcome that we want. But are we even allowed to say that we want something? Or does it have to be that we are guided towards something? Who knows anymore? I've found that the biggest, most limiting beliefs in regards to our ability to have an abundant life have been either connected to giving our power away to others to tell us what we can and can't do or have, allowing others to tell us what we're good at or not, and whether we're worthy or not, and also with various religious and spiritual beliefs that on the surface appear empowering, but are actually very limiting. And this is particularly true with the New Age and Ascension spin that has been put on things. When we subscribe to a particular set of beliefs without question, we can't help but follow its predictable path. That's why you see parents putting carrots for reindeer on Christmas Eve, scrabbling around looking for teeth under pillows, and hiding eggs in the garden. We believe it, so we have to play the part and follow it through to its predictable conclusion: presents, money, chocolate. Well, it's the same when we take on a particular set of New Age beliefs. We buy all the right crystals, wear the right clothes, follow the right people and believe what they say, and join the right communities where we feel like we belong, and often all carry the same spiritual wounds. Then we proceed to play our part. But it's not quite as innocent as the lies we tell our children, and it sometimes involves completely lying to ourselves about the voice inside of us that tentatively tries to warn us that something in this whole thing we're following is just not quite right, that perhaps this thing we're trying isn't actually working because our life hasn't improved, and perhaps we're being led off track. Depending upon the depth of our emotional wounds and our need to belong, we will either listen and make the necessary change in direction, or we'll override that voice completely and try to convince it that it's got it all wrong. Little do we know that by doing so we are committing a serious act of self-betrayal, causing a deepening of our already existing inner pain and lack of self-reliance. Self-betrayal sucks. It's how people end up doing things they really didn't want to do. When we lose our sense of self, a feeling of hopelessness can begin to set in, and we feel lost, stuck, and alone. We may be waking up to a new level of self, but it actually feels like a crisis, or in fact we might be entering a dark night of the soul, purposefully designed to catapult us into a deeper, truer sense of ourself and our purpose. If only we could learn to listen inside to the voice of our own soul, rather than searching outside of ourselves in all the wrong places. And it may have been exactly these types of feelings that led us to join those spiritual groups in the first place. We may even have mistaken our need to belong for our need to know ourselves at a deeper level. Perhaps our search is not for our tribe after all, but for a deeper connection with the divine that already dwells within us. The truth lies within you, within all of us. It's time we started listening.